Hi, my name is Leonard Adams, and I will be reading a couple of pages from my book, Things I Wish My Father Had Told Me, which is available on Amazon, and I will drop the link to the book in the description of this video. And as always, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends, and share the help that I hope this book provides with others. The reason I wrote the book in the first place is because literally there are things I wish my father had told me. He was a very absent, emotionally absent person and who didn't communicate. And there was a whole lot that I had to learn on my own. And so I want to keep others from having to go through some of those experiences. So I wrote the book to help others to just at least consider some advice that may be helpful in navigating this thing we call life. I'll be reading pages 25 and 26 from the book. And the heading for this section is, "The beginning of love is never responding to the primary emotions of hurt, fear, or frustration with the secondary emotion of anger." And it reads as follows. This is based on training I received as a counselor in the U.S. Army when I was a behavioral science specialist, and that's now known as a mental health specialist. In one of our training sessions, anger was described as a secondary emotion. Anger in any discussion is counterproductive, they said. And the good of anger only comes from realizing that it points to one or more of three primary emotions: hurt, fear, or frustration. If we become angry at something that occurs, we should ask ourselves why. Specifically, which primary emotion is responsible for that anger? Once we identify that emotion or those emotions, we should focus on describing and framing the issue in terms of that particular emotion or those particular emotions. Instead of simply allowing anger, ask yourself, am I hurt by what happened? Am I willing to be vulnerable by talking about my pain with the person that caused it? And I can already know that there are some of you who would say no to that. I will not allow myself to be vulnerable, to show even more vulnerability to someone who has already caused me pain. I don't want them to know that they've caused me pain. So I'm just going to get angry, which doesn't produce any positive effect. It has absolutely no redeeming value, and it does not make the situation better. And neither will it ever make the situation better. If not, will I talk to someone else? Does what happened make me afraid? Perhaps even afraid of losing this person? Does what happened in the past trigger fear now? Am I willing to talk with those who triggered the fear? Am I frustrated about what happened? Am I irritated? Why? Is it better to just let these feelings build up until I can't control how they come out? Absolutely, positively not. You never want to get to the point where you are not in control of how you respond, because anything you say and whatever you do, you can't take back. Once you put it out there, it's out there for good. Sorry isn't going to take it back. Apologizing isn't going to take it back. That person may forgive you, but they won't forget. And it will impact your relationship from that point on. If you choose to let things build up to the point where you can only respond when you are no longer in control and you have to get angry in order to respond. If you let yourself get to that point, you will regret it. But there's a prerequisite for discussing hurt, fear, and frustration. If you discuss either of these things while emotions are high, you risk defensiveness and not being heard. It's best to make sure you take the time to get to the emotional state where you can discuss the incident calmly. As you do so, you can ask yourself the following questions. Which words did they say that hurt me? Why am I afraid? What is frustrating to me about what happened? And please remember that no one's responses are in your control. You can't make anyone respond a certain way. If you commit to trying to understand another instead of assuming you know how they should behave, you will choose a calm and more loving path. You will have the assurance of knowing you did everything that you could to make the relationship work. Ultimately, you try to understand another's motives for the purposes of forgiveness and self-peace. If you believe you can't forgive, yet still have peace, it would be like pushing a door that requires pulling while wondering why it doesn't open. I hope this has been helpful. If so, or if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. I do check the videos and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Again, please like, subscribe to, and share this channel with others, and together, let's heal the world.